Hello and welcome to Tuesday Newsday, your #1 resource for the entire week's worth of VR news. This is somewhat of a special episode. I'm going to cover a few big things that happened first, then I'll get into my narrative. So without further ado, let's get right into the news. The first thing here that I'm very excited about is Bigscreen's newly announced partnership with Paramount Studios. If you don't know what Bigscreen is, it's a VR application that allows you to sit in a movie theater or empty void or even a comfy apartment to watch shows, movies, streams, and all socially. You can be in a cinema with your friends or random people just as you are in a real theater and enjoy a nice flick, all while in VR. But where the cool part comes in, starting this week, 4 big movies will premiere within Bigscreen with shows every 30 minutes playing on a live basis. These films can also be viewed in 3D, which is pretty sweet. Here is where this is going to get you though. Tickets cost a base of $4.99 each. Now, if there are any users of Bigscreen currently watching this, you're probably thinking, I could have done all of this before and for free, so what's so special? And I get it, I totally get it. Well, I checked out the cinema and it looks pretty nice, not gonna lie. And the new experience of getting a ticket and watching a movie that has air times is kind of a completely different experience than what I'm used to. And the actual quality of the video is pretty darn good over the stuff streamed from people in the current Bigscreen theaters. It's hard for me to complain too much about this form of monetization in a free social app like Bigscreen because I love the idea. If in the future I could go watch Star Wars Episode 19 Revenge of Baby Yoda on release day in-home in VR with all my friends across the world, I would totally be down. But baby steps. This week, I know I'm going to be watching Star Trek in the big screen cinema, and in just a couple weeks, my favorite movie, Top Gun, is going to be played, so I may just have a little community meetup for that. Info will be in the Discord sooner to the event. I know that this pricing strategy may be controversial, but I'm willing to give it a shot, at least personally. If you give me a good service for the price, then that's okay, and for now, high-quality 3D movies sounds like an alright deal. Just some quick remarks on Boneworks. As we all know, it released exactly 1 week ago. It's an action-adventure physics-based sandbox game, and I know that I've been playing it a lot and having a blast. According to SteamDB and SteamSpy, Boneworks sold over 200,000 copies of the game within 3 days of its release. That's incredible for a VR game. But do be aware that both of these sources have been known to not be totally reliable, so I wouldn't count on these numbers being fact. Boneworks did, however, hit top seller on the actual Steam store page and had more than 8,000 concurrent players at one point. I'm super impressed with those numbers, and it shows that, hey, if you market a game properly, make an actually decent game, and release it without too many bugs and issues, even a VR game can sell well. I know I've been pumping hours into the game, and after beating it a few times with my playtime being around 7 to 9 hours for a single story mode playthrough, I've actually been speedrunning the game on stream, getting down to about 1 hour and 40 minutes, but I think I could get way faster. Say what you want, but hey, that sounds like replayability to me. I may do a full in-depth analysis and review on the game if there's enough demand for it, so if you want that, then just leave a comment and like this video, and I'll get to work on it. And that's a perfect time to talk about my main topic today. Something is changing. Some have said the time is now, and many didn't believe it. When Oculus made that very phrase the slogan of their most recent VR press conference, I almost had the feeling that Oculus was saying, the time better be now, or else. And that's what today is about. Boneworks is flying off of virtual store shelves, proving to everyone that a VR game can be a Steam top seller. Bigscreen signing a multi-year deal with Paramount, providing a really cool service that really can't be replicated in your own home without already spending a crazy amount of money on hardware and sound systems and 3D TVs. But the crazy part, even if you want to buy a VR headset online or in stores, there's a good chance that you just can't, and not for a while too. The Oculus Quest, one of the best-selling headsets as is for 2019, is sold out almost everywhere, not even coming available on Amazon again until the end of January. On the other side of the hardware coin, the Valve Index, a $1,000 kit, is completely sold out until further notice. But wait, the Oculus Rift S is sold out too, and so are refurbished Vives from HTC. VR headsets are almost completely sold out. Let that sink in. Think about what that means. 6 months ago, in one of my very first videos, I said, VR is about to experience its largest influx of players ever. We are about as close as we have ever been to being mainstream. And seeing headsets fly off shelves to a point where manufacturers physically can't keep up almost makes my eyes water a little bit. Myself and millions of others have been here for years doing our best to show everyone why this VR thing is so cool, and now I feel like between Boneworks' Half-Life Alyx's reveal Steel, and other games like Stormland and Beat Saber constantly getting better. Improvements in hardware, some lowering of cost, and hardware requirements not being that hard to meet. We're finally at this spot where VR is gonna have its break. We're not just this little niche within a niche. At least we're not gonna be there for very long. All I'm saying is that between a giant influx of new players, great games coming to fruition, and headsets actually being sold and sold out, 2020 is the year of VR. And if you're new, welcome. We are VR. Of course, I always segue from a deep topic into a meme break. After playing Boneworks twice back to back, I kinda know this feel. I fell asleep to some YouTube and woke up with night sweats to a head crab noise out of my laptop from a video. And I almost had to explain to stream why my index was broken. Maybe having my headset on my ceiling isn't such a good idea after all. And back to the news. This release went completely under the radar of almost everyone, including myself. And I may even make a video on it. It is a little sad that due to a huge release like Boneworks, a smaller title that is insanely good lost a lot of the momentum and spotlight that it probably deserved. The game is boiling steel and it released just a week and a half ago. This is what is said on the Steam store page. They promised a good job and a bright future, but advertising posters always lie. Instead of a quiet life, war. Instead of a body, a steel shell. Instead of weapons, tools. Thousands of light years from home, you are alone. Nowhere to run. Good luck, my friend. The game has support for all headsets, a pretty good storyline that I'm still running through, and pretty impressive visuals. Currently sitting at a very positive on Steam at the moment, and it's for a pretty good reason. I don't know if the marketing failed for this game or what, but it's a total sleeper title, and I think it's worth checking out, even if it's during your safe window on Steam for just 2 hours. I think you'll like it. The Steam store page will be in the description. Show them some ThrillSeeker love. I'm not sure if you guys have heard the rumors from Tyler over at Valve News Network, but apparently Valve is planning on following up Life Alyx with Left4Dead VR. I understand this is kind of stale and more than a week old, but it's worth mentioning. Multiple references to Left4Dead terms have been found in updates by Valve in VR-related software, including Coach, Biker, Jimmy, and more. A follow-up announcement for another giant VR game from Valve is pretty much exactly what we would need, and it's just icing on the cake to keep people excited and invested in VR post the Alyx release, which I know some people have shown their worries that there aren't many heavy hitters coming soon after, which I kind of disagree, but we could talk about that later. Some sort of disappointing news regarding Valve did surface though. As Half-Life Alyx was expected to make an appearance at the Game Awards, Valve said this on Twitter, quote, "We're sorry to say Half-Life Alyx won't be shown at the Game Awards tonight. The team is hard at work on the game, and we're excited to show you more in the new year as we approach the March release." End quote. Now that the Game Awards are completed, we know that Valve did not release any new info on Alyx or any other VR games on the way, which is a shame. There's a lot of speculation as to why this happened, including the idea that Valve was a little scared of the high bar that Boneworks had set the same week, and that teleport was a major mechanic of Alyx. However, that is closer to the rumor side of things than actual fact. One fact that has come about are the impressions that Half-Life Alyx has been leaving on people. The creator of HoloLens for Microsoft, Alex Kipman, had this to say, quote, "Had the great privilege to play Half-Life Alyx at Valve yesterday. Most inspiring and immersive VR game I have ever experienced, and I've played quite a few," end quote. So we know at the very least, people within the AR and VR industry are impressed and extremely excited for what Valve has in store. But enough with the Valve talk. Beat Saber just released its long-awaited 360-degree maps, and I have to say, these maps have definitely brought a whole new sense of fresh air to the game for me. I'm not gonna lie, I'm no Beat Saber pro, far from it. Expert and maybe a couple of the easier Expert Plus maps are about most that I can handle. But the free update has got me back in the game and wanting to get better. The dynamic of turning my body to hit notes flying at me from all angles is super fun, and well, like I said, it's a free update, so give it a shot. One of my favorite older VR games, Star Trek Bridge Crew, that I still go back to every now and then, has had a surprise announcement that it is coming to the Oculus Quest. That is pretty huge for the player base of the game, which is one of the biggest reasons why I had to stop playing it. It was just a pain to find people to play with. But the co-op experience is one of the funnest and funniest I've ever had in VR, and it being Star Trek themed with all the memorable sounds and visuals just makes it all that much better. And now for question of the week from Leon Bible. How did you find out about VR and what was your first experience? Believe it or not, one of the first times I felt like I needed to get VR was watching an old Jacksepticeye video, and I don't think that original video is even up anymore. It had to have been from late 2015 or 2016. And I've always been a YouTube watching fiend. That's how I found out about VR and saw how cool it was. And honestly, if it weren't for people making VR content way back then, I probably wouldn't be doing this now. But here I am wanting to do the same thing for people that others have done for me. I know my reach isn't what Jacksepticeye is, and maybe it never will be. Maybe it will, who knows? But I'm just trying to do my little piece of the pie to show as many people as I can why we're all in this and why we like VR. VR. And my first experience, ironically, it was a roller coaster sim on a DK2 that I had shortly. Awesome for the time, but not something I'd recommend now. There are definitely better things to show people for their first experience. Don't forget to leave your question of the week. Yours may be answered next. It could be about me or VR or really anything, or even how to make cheese. And also check out GamerSupps. It's a company that I've been working with to bring to the VR crowd, and it's something that definitely keeps me energized in a healthy way while playing Boneworks for 8 hours at a time, for example. It's a powdered energy drink in some really good flavors that is keto friendly and completely sugar free. Use code THRILL at checkout for 10% off your order. Alright guys, that's the week's news. Check out my Twitch today. I will be streaming as I do every Tuesday, as I do other days of the week too. We can talk VR, the topics I covered today, or you can just come along for the ride for whatever shenanigans I get myself into. Thank you to all my Patreon supporters for being so amazing, especially my Omegas like Skeleto. I couldn't be doing any of this without you. Don't forget to like this video if you loved it, subscribe if you want more of this, and hit that freaking bell if you just can't live without it. Much love, Thrill out.